Bridget Fedesi tweeted, "My mentions right now, as expected, are versions of, quote, I will do whatever it takes to destroy the Marxists and or fascists destroying America. My question, what is the way out when both sides feel righteous in their cause and increasingly violence? I am 100% opposed to violence. I oppose the death penalty, and I believe everybody should chill out and talk their way through things. I'm about diplomacy. I'm anti-war. I recognize sometimes these things are impossible, and because of that, violence erupts. But I certainly did not start any violence. In fact, I've been calling for it to end nonstop just for years. But the left has certainly brought it to my doorstep. I've been threatened. I've had people send veiled bomb threats to me. I've had people post pictures of family members. And it's become increasingly dangerous for me to cover news on the ground. I never asked for this. I denounced it, but they kept coming. It is not me who's advocating for violence, but I will tell you this. I will vote. I'll be voting for Donald Trump, and I'll be doing everything in my power to prevent these extremists from taking over. I think there are many people who are still holding out on this belief that Donald Trump is pure evil. I've always said he's bad. He's not that bad. He's just not my choice for president. But at least he is an American who loves this country and will stop the chaos. The far left are overt racists. They're increasingly unhinged and dangerous. And I believe that they're bringing violence to our homes. They're burning down buildings, and we need law enforcement to stop them. My response to Bridget was when she asked, what is the way out when both sides feel, righteous? I said, I don't think there is one. The left has embraced identitarianism. I will never compromise with racists. I won't do it. I don't care what kind of racist they are. I won't. My family lived through identitarian government and got to experience victory with Loving v. Virginia and the Civil Rights Act. And this is the world I get to grow up in, created by the left. Whatever the left was back then that believed in free speech, they're gone today. Recently, Will Chamberlain posted a quote from Bill Clinton, and it was amazing. He was basically denouncing violence. And there was a woman, a black woman, who was talking about killing white people, and Bill Clinton denounced it. And I said, no, it's no wonder Bill Clinton won 2 terms. A reasonable approach saying, don't call for violence and don't say you want to kill or hurt people. But where are we today? The number 1 book in civil rights on Amazon is from a guy who's advocating for racial discrimination. One of the top books among the left right now is White Fragility, calling for racial discrimination, written by an avowed racist, and the left is following her. You want me to compromise with those people? It's never going to happen. At least Donald Trump is pro-America and civil liberties. I don't want to go back in time, these reactionary leftists. Someone responded to me, the moron pundit, saying, nobody wants to hear the real answer to that question, but here it is. Win the war. That's scary to me, but I'm not sure they're wrong. I've been saying this for quite some time, and I mentioned this in my earlier segment on my main channel over at youtube.com/Timcast. I went to the gun store yesterday, and I said, I would like to purchase some ammo, fine sir, and they said, we don't got any. They had a ton of birdshot. That's about it. They had some stuff, 22, if you're not familiar with guns, I'm not an expert for the most part either. But I was looking for common, ammo types they did not have. They told me, come back and we'll see if we get any tomorrow. I came back in. The dude told me that it was extremely difficult to get anything. There were like hundreds of cars lined up at the distributor, desperate to get ammo, and they were only allowed limited quantities. I think the guy only had like 10 boxes of 45 ACP. So I said, I will take what you're willing to sell me. And he was not willing to sell me all that much. I'm not asking for violence. I'm denouncing it. I'm trying to make sure it stops. However, Bridget Fedesi makes a really great point. She says, if Trump wins, I reckon America will burn. If Trump loses, America will burn. She basically said, it doesn't matter. Well, she's saying she's not going to vote. But either way, she's saying you should prepare for America to burn. And that's right. Who will win when it does? I don't know. I believe if Donald Trump wins, the left will go absolutely insane. I believe if Donald Trump loses, the left will still go absolutely insane. I don't think it's going to be coming from the right. It's certainly not going to be coming from me. I'm getting away from the cities. I'm moving away from the cities. I'm just trying to be defensive. But I tell you this story about the ammo for a reason. You can tell me all day and night the conversation about civil war is dumb. It's stupid. It's not going to happen. Tim, you're being hyperbolic. Oh, exaggeration. I don't care if you think it's nonsense. I don't. I talk to my friends and they're just milling about like normal life. And I say, have you paid attention to what's been going on? And they say, oh, I don't know, man. I don't really follow the news. I'm like, that's fine. And it's those people that are like, nah, nothing's going to happen. But then the tsunami will hit. And it will happen. Why? Because it already is happening. It came to Kenosha. And these people in Kenosha did not think it was going to come. They weren't paying attention. They didn't care. And boom, there it is. And now their buildings are gone. And they're begging for the National Guard. Kenosha is not a big town. It's just north of Chicago by only like, I think, 45 minutes or so. I'm buying ammo. But I'm not the only one. These stores are being cleaned out. What do you think that means? So say it's not going to happen. And I hope it doesn't, but people are expecting it to happen. I'm not saying they're calling for it to happen. They want it to happen. I'm saying they believe it will. Maybe they're all wrong. Maybe we're all the crazy ones, and I hope that's the case. Now, Bridget says she's not going to vote. She writes, almost exactly a year ago, I wrote a piece titled The Battle Cry of the Politically Homeless, in which I lamented the toxic tribalism that's infecting our politics and pitting neighbor against neighbor, sister against brother, parent against child. Democracy doesn't die in the darkness. It dies when politics become team sports, in full view of a bloodthirsty cheering electorate. At the end, I wondered, we will return to the dark ages, or we will evolve. Is that likely? I don't know. Have we evolved that much from the Roman Colosseum barreling into 2020? It doesn't seem like it. I think Bridget's great, but I disagree. And I think Bridget is missing the bigger picture. I have never liked Donald Trump as a candidate. I still don't like the idea of voting for him. It's just a fact, but I'm going to. And it's not because I'm on anyone's team. I don't want to be on anyone's team. I'm never going to be a guy wearing a MAGA beanie marching around waving a flag. It's not going to happen. But I'll tell you this. The left has embraced racism. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. They've literally voted to repeal the civil rights law from their constitution, or the Prop 209 in California. This guy, Ibrahim Kendi, or whatever his name is, advocating for racial discrimination. Robin DiAngelo, an avowed racist, leading the front of the left. I tell you this, Donald Trump is not trying to remove the civil rights legislation. The Republicans are not voting to remove these things. In fact, they denounced and voted out Steve King. He's gone. He lost the primary. This idea that Donald Trump is a fascist, it's just insane. These people have lost their minds. They've been burning down buildings and killing people for 3 months. And now I have no choice. You know why? Donald Trump represents Americans who want stability, who want peace, who want to work, feed their kids, and live a normal life. He does not represent a fringe extremist faction. Now, certainly, Trump is very different from the politicians we've seen before, but he's not trying to repeal the Civil Rights Act. And if he did, okay, well, then I'm going to be really upset. But he's not. It's the left that's literally doing it right now. So I'll tell you what I have to look forward to. Maybe vote Libertarian or Green Party. Sorry, I can't do it. I got friends who say they will. If Joe Biden wins, the far left has already said, quote, it is easier to overthrow Joe Biden than it is Donald Trump. Well, I'll call that a paraphrasing because they use more disparaging terms for what Joe Biden represents. But they believe he'll do what they want. And he will. 10% of the CDC's employees have called for racism to be a national health crisis. These people are cult members for a fringe religion that's becoming more and more dominant by the day. They're overt racists. What they believe in is the same exact thing the white supremacists did. The only difference is the color of their skin. The idea itself is still nightmarish. And I believe the only way to push back against it is by voting for Donald Trump and hoping that he and the Republicans win. I've met with black conservatives who are Republican, who believe in the dream of Martin Luther King Jr., that they'll be judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. The left doesn't believe that. Bridget says, in the last year, the globe has been ravaged by a pandemic that put the ineptitude of American institutions and leaders on display for the world. The pandemic has been mishandled from top to bottom. We had to turn off China for PPE to protect our healthcare. No, I'm sorry. I disagree with this. Donald Trump pointed out the problem a long time ago. Too much of our products are made by China. Supply line shortages are becoming ridiculous. It's impossible to buy hard goods because our medicine, our PPE was made by China. Trump said this 10 years ago. Trump was not my choice for candidate. I don't want to be on your team, but he's right. He's right. I'm sorry, it's true. So Bridget says, call me crazy, but I'm not optimistic about the future of America heading into 2020 election. I'm not alone. Our primarily liberal cities are falling into ruin and anarchy, places where wealth inequality exacerbates homelessness and crime. I'm no military genius, but when the alpha males start retreating, it's a pretty good indicator that conditions are deteriorating. When men like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk are taking their creativity, capital, and empires away from the West Coast, it's a glaring sign that it's probably time to get the hell out of Dodge. Almost everyone I know here in LA is buying a gun, stocking up on water, and wondering what the aftermath of the election results will look like. If Trump wins, I reckon America will burn. If he loses, America will burn. Either way, I'm preparing for America to burn. You know, I mostly agree. And again, I think Bridget's pretty great, actually. So I recommend you follow her on Twitter and check out her stuff. But I think if Donald Trump wins, America will burn, but it will survive. I believe if Donald Trump loses, America will no longer exist. Joe Biden is part of the establishment machine that sold us out to multinational corporations and sent our manufacturing to China. And Trump called it out 10 years ago. Joe Biden is bending the knee to overt and avowed racists. If Joe Biden wins, this country will crumple. If Donald Trump wins, it will burn, but it will survive. That's why I'm going to be voting for Donald Trump. And I'm not happy about having to join someone's team. I don't want to vote, but I will because I know I have to do it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.